Hi, my name is Ben Tchoubineh from Phoenix TS, and I'm here at CIC 2023 in San Diego, California, and I'm here with the amazing, incredible, I don't even know how to qualify you anymore. I don't think there's any
love
word
that. Thank you.
that describes you.
Oh, my husband could be a couple.
Yeah.
My kids call me the dream killer. So
The unbelievable Katie Arrington. The force of nature. How about that? Let's call it that.
Yeah. I will say with the force of nature.
The mother of CMMC.
Yes.
You know, it's just such an honor to be here with you. It really is. I'm one of your biggest fans, and that's saying something because you have a huge fandom out there.
Thank you. But I've known you for a long time, and it goes both ways.
Thank you. Thank you. It was great to serve under you and for you, and to serve the nation as one of the original members of the CMMC AB.
And you gave yourself. So one of the things that I loved about that time is that you guys, the crew that came together to create something, you gave of yourselves. It wasn't about getting paid. It wasn't about getting publicity. I mean, the original members of the CMMC AB took so much flack, and I just can't thank you guys enough for doing it. It just meant the world, and it was, I will never forget our feisty little phone calls.
Oh yes, oh yes. I always say, she means what she says, and she says it loud, and we say yes, ma'am. You know? Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was amazing. And what the CMMC has turned into is because of you guys.
Thank you.
It's all because of you guys.
I will say, you started it, and you're still in the fight. But I want to kind of go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
When none of us were involved, and this was still in your head and in your heart. And you really have had to work so hard to push it and turn it into what it is and what it's going to be, and you're still in the fight. Where did this come from? What was the cause? What was the spark that gave you this idea?
Kevin Fahey.
Okay.
And that relationship, how it evolved, is such an amazing story of my falling in love with cybersecurity and my I would say, blind allegiance to this nation. My first husband was in an IED attack in 2007, lost his team. He survived. And I had written on LinkedIn, I read an article, Kevin Fahey, at the time was the PEO over the MRAPs. And he said, he was fighting with Congress because Congress kept saying, you have to field test this. And he's like, it's a truck. I'm not field testing a truck. People are dying. We're getting it over there. Well, as a family member of someone who truly understood that, I had LinkedIn him and said thank you for being brave enough to break the culture to do this. Well, many years later, I'm at a consortia event, and I stand up to say something, and it's Kevin Fahey on the stage, and I'm like, oh, I remember him. And it was about OTAs and that large businesses don't need small businesses for innovation. And I stood up and I'm like, absolutely, you're incorrect. Innovation comes from small business. And Kevin's like, you're the LinkedIn girl. And it was the fact that I'd worked on so many cyber programs and had my own business, et cetera. I realized that there was no compliance to it. There was no teeth in what we were doing. And Kevin just said, create a program. Tell me what it would look like. And it was, I had been as a legislator prior, and I wrote legislation about cybersecurity. So I was like, oh, how do I help them help themselves? So it was, and using I'm big on not reinventing the wheel, right? We had the NIST, we had the 171, we had the cybersecurity framework, we had all these things. It was just compiling them together, not reinventing the wheel. And I wish that we could use, CMMC started off just with the DoD, but it has far more reaching capability in every industry, in every sector in the United States. They can use this because everything has cyber in it now. And we worry about compliance on everything from, making sure that you have OSHA compliance, that you've got your DHEC compliance, but there's no cyber compliance. It's the thing that holds us all together. So it just happened to be at the right time, and just couldn't be more impressed with the ecosystem that you helped build.
You give me way too much credit. But, so yeah, let's fast forward to today. right? And where we are, it's still not the law of the land.
Nope.
There's all these delays. From your perspective, as the creator of this thing, as the mother of CMMC, I can't stop saying it because it's true. What do you think we need? What is it? What is it that can push us over that edge? From your perspective, where's the industry now, and what do we need to get past it?
So the thing that, money always helps, right? So I've spent a great deal of this past year working with Congress on my own time, calling members, telling them we need this, we need money, we need it to look like this, it needs to be of this ilk to go into the NDAA. So I need everybody's help to keep that going. Because once they get into it, really start moving forward with it, it will move beyond other just the defense industry, because the defense industry touches so many other industries, right? There are corporations, Honeywell. You look at Boeing. You look at any of those. They have a percentage of defense work, and then they have commercial work. And why wouldn't the CMMC work on both sides?
That's right.
It only makes sense. And it's just, the community, the ecosystem of believers. So I say there's the echo chamber, right? We've got to get outside of the echo chamber. Those of us who believe in it, we believe in it. We have to move outside of it, and we have to find new ways to do it. Today, when I spoke, was about how, the C3PAOs, targeting and going after people that are actually going to be needing it in the time frame that they need it, right? So instead of trying to sell everybody across the board that this is the way to go, let's look at when the law of the land becomes the law of the land in 2024, if not sooner, who's going to be ready? Because you and I, from way back in the day, we talked about the day that we turned it on, and that there wouldn't be enough, auditors, there wouldn't be enough C3PAOs. Okay, well, God has been working with us and giving us time to make that happen.
Yep.
So here we are, right? Now we have enough, and don't wait, right? And how do you help people get to I'm going to pull the button, I'm going to do this? It should become something that differentiates you from competitors. It brings you above, right? And that's, how do we get that out? How do we get that word out? Well, it's things like this conference. It's people like you doing what you've been doing for all the time that you've been doing it. And getting, I say, luminaries in the other, I say silos, but the verticals for markets, getting the luminaries to understand that the CMMC translates to so many others. It's not just DoD. And the one thing that I would love is if we could move away from CUI. Like, let's stop talking about that.
That's interesting. So what is it about CUI that you don't like specifically?
So people look at it and they're like, the DoD is talking about bifurcation and, but you're looking at a one-on-one instance, right? Are you really talking, so you're not getting CUI on this program, but you're getting it on this program, right? You're taking it on this. Does it really matter at the end of the day? When you have on a network people's social security numbers, their home addresses, your banking information, and yes, some people may have network segmentation, but the reality is everything you do is important enough to secure it. That's why you're in business. So CUI doesn't really, to me, it's the composite of all that you have in your business portfolio that really creates CUI. You don't need somebody telling you it's CUI. Just protect it at that level. It only makes sense. Anything less is, in my mind, and I know people don't all agree with me, but I say it's negligence, right? When you go into work and you have people's social security numbers, you have payroll information, that's PII and that's CUI. So if we could just take that discussion out and just say everybody needs to be as secure as possible, I think the conversation would go a lot easier. Because right now people are like, oh, I don't get CUI, I don't have CUI. Well, yeah, you do. You just don't know.
There's so many different definitions of CUI. So do I really have CUI or not?
And I think CUI is just something that the government has, that they're just spinning and spinning and spinning. To me, it's a waste of tax dollars. Let's stop talking about it. Let's just spend the money instead of discussing and trying to carve it out. Let's just put the resources to make sure everybody is protected as possible to stay in business.
Well, there you have it. That's how we feel about CUI.
I do.
It is so good to see you, so good to get to hang out with you again. We went through the foxhole together,
Yes,
that's for sure.
yes.
So thank you for
Do you
everything
realize
you've
how
done.
long it's been? We started this journey in 2019.
That's right.
In 2023, I'm
3 years and some months. Yeah.
and I'm saddened and I'm excited. It's just and I say this when I look on LinkedIn or I go and I look at all of the conversations going on about cyber now. That I know the family of us that started it, we created that.
Yeah.
We created a dialogue. And the only way to solve problems is to have conversations about it, and we elevated it. And I am the mommy at the CMMC, but I would be remiss if I didn't have people like you, Ty Scheiber, John Weiler, Mark Berman, Chris Golden. I mean, everybody that came together, and then the Stacy Bosgenics.
Oh yeah.
And then the
DoD office.
the two, I would say, gentlemen that should have the highest just award accolation, and I couldn't do enough, is John Choi.
That's right.
And Buddy Dees, because the model itself, it was
really their baby.
Their baby. The ideas and how to get it out there and how to, and I would say it was the best marketing plan with no money ever, because everybody bought in to support. But those two guys are the ones that just every single day, 12, 14, 16-hour days for months, working with, and it was a collaboration.
Yeah.
Then it was so good. There are times where you look back and where our country has really done some amazing things, and it's when we collaborate, when we talk. And between the department, academia, and industry, the conversations that went on, and some of them were they were feisty, right? Like when we,
of course,
because it's trying to create something while we're flying. But it was one of the most proudest moments in my career, right? Was we were all able to come together and continue even through COVID. I mean, even through COVID, we managed. I remember the first tabletop exercise.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
I was just like, how are we doing this? It is
so many people came together online.
It's
got that done.
Amazing, and it's still like that. And the fact that this community, I've been out of the DoD for a year now, it still continues, and I'm thankful to people, to you, thanks to the folks out there. But it's an ecosystem, it's a community, it's
You're
living,
still
breathing.
the voice of CMMC. You're still working hard to keep this fight going, and we appreciate you so much. We can't wait to see what's next.
I'm working on
There's something
another.
going on here. There's
I'm
an
working
announcement
on
coming on what, January 30th?
Yes.
All right, so we can't wait for this announcement that's going to be coming out on January 30th. Where should we look for it? On LinkedIn, on
it'll be a big news push.
Okay, so you will not miss it.
No.
It's going to be amazing. I know a little bit about it, and I can't wait for the world to find out about it, because it's really incredible. It's another incredible
idea.
Arrington project.
Do you know the name of it originally? It's called The Big Idea. Like
The Big Idea.
And when people are just like, you come up with these names, I'm like, well, the CMMC wasn't rocket science. It's literally cybersecurity maturity model certification. It's not hard.
Well, that's a great place to finish. Thank you again for your time, for your amazingness.
Ditto.
And we can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.